Hello and welcome to the Inside Stylists Podcast. I'm Emma Morton-Turner and you're listening to episode 17, How to Get the Most from Instagram with Lisa Dawson. So this episode is quite a long one and I have to say I learned so much. I've listened to lots of podcasts about Instagram before and Lisa just knows so much stuff. I mean, she's got over 100,000 followers, so she's kind of doing something right. What she talks about, I've put into action and it is making a massive difference. The one thing we didn't say was what her handle was. So I'm going to tell you now. It's obviously going to be in the show notes, but just so you know, if you want to follow Lisa, she's on Instagram _Lisa_Dawson_. We also didn't mention the name of her blog. I don't quite know how I've managed to leave these off, but her blog is lisadawsonstyling.com. So, on with the show. Today I have a social media influencer who has over 100,000 followers on her Instagram account, and it's very inspiring to watch how she has created that kind of job for herself in the whole world. Today's guest is Lisa Dawson. Hello, Lisa.
Hello.
Thank you very much for letting me come into your beautiful house.
No, thank you for coming.
It's always very exciting coming to people's houses when you have seen them on Instagram and you think you know what it's going to be like, and then you come and it's actually completely different.
I know, well, unfortunately mine is a lot messier than it looks on Instagram.
And everyone
the reality.
Everyone says that too. It's not messy at all. And it's huge, it's so much bigger and it's really light and bright and just really interesting. We were saying when I got here how it's interesting how you come into a house and it's different to how you think it's going to be, all the the hallways and the rooms, and
it's completely really different.
I feel very lucky coming and having a look in the flesh.
Oh, thank you. I always wish that my house actually did look like it did on Instagram. So it's like laid out. I like looking at the beautiful squares all together, when I know in reality actually it looks nothing like that.
I wish my house looked like your Instagram.
I know, I wish my own house looked like my own Instagram post. Unfortunately it doesn't.
So the reason that I wanted to have you on the podcast was to talk about Instagram specifically, because you've built up your account from, I think when I first connected with you, I think you were just about to reach 40,000. And that feels like 5 minutes ago, and you're at 100,000. So I kind of think you're going to have all the secrets and the top tricks and tips and how to get there. But can you maybe talk about how you got started in Instagram? Because you're one of the biggest names on Instagram that I know of for interiors, and you've built up this whole kind of Instagramming. There's a whole Instagramming crowd, and you're one of the big names in that. Do you want to talk about how you got into it from the beginning?
Yes, so I'd always liked taking photographs, and I've been using Instagram as a social media for some time, and I've been just posting pictures of my, kids, all lovely filtered photographs, using the filtered. I wasn't doing it in any way apart from just to please myself. Yeah. Wasn't using any hashtags, didn't know anything about hashtags, absolutely nothing. And then we moved up from London to York, and we bought, because of the house price difference, we managed to buy a house that we would never have been able to afford in the south, and I started decorating it room by room, and this was January of 2016, and I went on Instagram. I'd always really liked being on Instagram. I liked the fact it was a creative media rather than Facebook, which is very much here, look where I've been and all this sort of stuff, and here's my kids doing this, just had this, and here I am checking in at the garage and all, so I never really fancied Facebook. I liked Instagram because it was so creative. So I had a look and I found, by complete accident, I don't even know how I found it, a hashtag called My Style Photo Challenge. I think I'd put a picture of my house on and someone had commented, and I'd followed, how you stalk back people when they comment. And I had no idea. I actually used to block people for commenting on my pictures, because I was like, what are you doing commenting on my picture? How dare you? I don't even know who you are. So I found that there was people who were commenting who were using a hashtag called My Style Photo Challenge, and I had a look at it. And basically, it was a prompt every single day. So it would give you a theme, like red or house or car or whatever, that would be the theme. And then you would take a picture that fitted that theme every day and use the hashtag My Style Photo Challenge. So I looked at this and I started sort of occasionally posting on it. And that was how I met Dee. So I first started talking with Dee Campling, who is my workshop partner. Talking to her on this hashtag My Style Photo Challenge, and so we realised, Dee and I, very quickly that we were posting interiors every day. Other people were doing beauty stuff, animals, kids, dogs, all that, but Dee and I were always adjusting adjusting the prompt to fit our homes. So we immediately realised we had something in common. So we started using this hashtag, and we also had a look. We started discovering that there were lots of American hashtags who were also very into interiors. There was nothing in the UK. There was no real interior network as such on Instagram. We started gaining followers and we started using hashtags. We started using the hashtags that they were using in America, basically copying them, duplicating them, and we found that our following was rising. But our following, when we look back on it now, and we saw that our following rose very quickly. So I had 30 followers in January 2016. I remember going to see my sister in Singapore in March, and I had 800. So it grew really, really quickly. And when Dee and I look back on it now and talk about it, it was because we were engaging. So what this group, this My Style Photo Challenge group did, is when someone posted a picture, you would comment, and then they would comment back. So even if it just was, oh, I love that sofa, you would go, thank you very much.
Yeah.
It was like etiquette. Yeah. That was what you did. It was following this etiquette that, or even if you just left an emoji. Yeah. It was like following an etiquette. It was engaging. Yeah. So you would go through the feed, like all the, like the photos, comment on the photos, and our following just went immediately. This was at a time before they changed all the algorithm. Yeah. So things were different. But we found that by engaging, we were growing our following.
Right, that's really interesting.
So that's what we did. And I look
it wasn't just hashtags, it was that you were connecting with
oh my
people.
God, no, it was absolutely, it was totally and utterly the engagement. It wasn't just the hashtags. So from that point on, we started using hashtags. We still followed My Style Photo Challenge for months on end, actually, I think. But we started using interior-based hashtags. So very basic ones like interior design, interior inspo, all that sort of thing. Yeah. But it grew very quickly. But we realised, looking back, it was because of the engagement. It's because we were responding to people, talking to them.
And you've basically created a career that was nothing expected. We were talking before we started recording how you've created this career for yourself that was completely unexpected, but it's become your job. Instagram has become your job, would you say?
Totally. Yeah, and it's so funny, and I still actually can't believe what I do for a living. And when I tell people what I do,
what do you say? When someone says, what do you do?
I know, it's so difficult.
Post pictures on Instagram.
I post pictures on Instagram. I post pictures of my house, and then I write about them.
And they go, and you can make money from that.
I know.
And you're like, yes. Have you seen my carpet?
Completely mad.
Rug, picture, like, whatever.
It's totally mad. Yeah. And so I actually, so we started, Dee and I started the hashtag. So with Fiona Cameron, who from Around Houses, who's another interior person. So in the October of that year, we realised there was
you met through Instagram.
Totally met through Instagram. Dee and I met through Instagram. Yeah. We bonded over a picture of Marilyn Monroe, of Bridget Bardot, that I had in my living room. And she's like, oh, I like that. And I was like, oh, I bought it from Etsy, I'll send you the file. And that was it. And then we went on another workshop together, and then we became friends. Yeah. So in the October of that year, we decided, Fiona, we all came up with this idea that there was no UK hashtag for interiors that people could post to. So we started My Home Vibe. And people immediately jumped on it, because what it meant is that everybody who posted their homes to My Home Vibe, it curated a feed, which is what a hashtag does. Yeah. So My Home Vibe curated a feed that was purely interiors, and there was nothing like that.
And UK interiors as well.
UK interiors,
like home ground sort of thing.
Absolutely. So whereas before we've been completely led by magazines, by the high street telling us what we like, actually we could go onto this feed and see all these people's houses, like real people's houses.
Yes. It's like 25 Beautiful Homes magazine, 25 Beautiful Kitchens. It's that whole voyeurism thing. Everyone wants to see into each other's homes and seeing what they're doing in a intriguing, I want to be inspired sort of a way. So it's kind of opened up that whole world. Yeah. But it's literally your neighbour. It's not even just magazine content.
And you're inspired by people. And I know for years I've got piles of living accessories in my hallway that I've been buying for years and years and years. Yeah. And I have always styled my home based around what I see in those magazines. Yeah. That's what I've always done. And if I couldn't afford it, then I would do my own way of doing it, and I would create. That's what I would do. Yeah. Which is why I love upcycling, charity shops, and all that sort of stuff so much. Yes. But My Home Vibe feed was normal people. Like, it wasn't these amazingly glamorous houses you see in magazines. It was normal people's homes. So you could get inspiration from
it's reachable,
normal people like you and I.
And
totally. It was relatable. Yeah. So this is what we did when we tried to set up My Home Vibe. We said, right, it needs to be relatable. It needs to be inclusive. So there was no point doing a feed that was all dark interiors or all white interiors. It needed to be inclusive. It needed to include everybody. So that was why it was my home vibe, and it needs to be achievable.
Yeah.
So not aspirational, but achievable.
Yeah.
Like, so you could look at it and go, oh, she's made a wall hanging out of macrame. She's going to show me how to do that on Instagram, and I can copy it and I can do it. So it was a whole new world.
Yeah.
So yes, so that's what we did, the hashtag, and then Dee and I started doing workshops on what we did.
Yeah.
And of course, Dee and I, although Dee has done interior design in the past, we were not interior designers.
No.
We simply created workshops on what we did.
Yeah, so people kind of followed your Instagram feeds, liked what you did, and you said, well, we can show you how we do it.
Totally.
And they basically were like, I want that.
And there's no secret. There's nothing like elitist or secretive about it. Dee and I simply project that what we want to do is create homes that we love.
And they're quite long. They're 3 hour long, your workshops, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're 3 hour long. Yeah. And do you have quite a lot? Do people come from all around? You do them in different places, don't you?
Yeah, totally. So when we first started back last January, we started doing them. And the first workshop we did, we had a couple come over from Ireland.
Wow.
We were like,
so they really travel.
No pressure. So yeah, people come from all over, and now we used to do them in our own homes, in other people's homes, and now we are doing them. We work with brands in their showrooms to do them. So we're about to go to artist residents to do some at the end of June, and they're Instagram based ones. And then we're doing Styling Your Home at West Elm at their amazing new showroom in Westfield.
Yeah.
So that's in July.
That's really good. You don't really want everyone coming into your home all the time as well. It's like you have a family.
Nice.
So
it's nice, but I think it's quite nice when they can sort of tie it in with a bit of shopping. Well, that's quite nice too.
Yeah, I bet people loved coming around. Can we talk a bit about hashtags? So you're saying that you created your own hashtag, but I think people understand how they work, but how can they make them work better? Like when you search a hashtag, you're not supposed to use the one that is like got 4 million kind of followers sort of thing or usage.
Yes,
like you're supposed to go a bit lower, aren't you? And what's the best way to use hashtags?
People ask about hashtags all the time, and on Instagram courses it's one of the main things that people ask. So there's all this thing about, should you put your hashtag in the comment, should you add it onto your caption? I just add mine onto my caption, and lots of people worry, and there's this whole worrying thing that people think it looks a bit desperate to add so many hashtags. No, obviously I'm always astonished at how many people worry what people will think when they put hashtags on, but hashtags are there for a reason. You can use up to 30. Right, why would you use one and be seen in one feed when you can use 30 and be seen in 30 feeds? A madness. Why would you not do that? So always use 30 hashtags. Use a mix of big and small. So use some of the big ones, which are the 4 million ones. So use
interiors or
interior styling or whatever. But then also use the smaller ones. And when you go onto to post your post and you put in the hashtag, it will come up.
Yeah. So
I always use a mixture of big and small.
So when you say small, how many would small be? Like 1,000 or?
No, I would probably never use one that small. I probably use them about between 12 and 15,000.
Right.
There, so fairly, engaged,
established,
and ones that people look at. Because 1,000 hasn't got many people looking at it, but something with 12,000 has got more people looking at it.
Yeah, so anything below that is just a waste of your time.
It's not really a waste of time because that's how they build their followings. But if I was wanting to create content and put it out there to the absolute maximum audience, I would mix my hashtags big and small.
And so, say you've got a picture of a pink bathroom. Do you go as simple as pink bathroom? Like, do you go through it showing exactly what is it, like pointing out what is in the picture, or do you find the kind of domino or whatever, the kind of out there, not obvious to the image?
So when I put my picture on, the first hashtags I use would be descriptions of the room. So if I was doing this room that we're sitting in, I would do hashtag living room. Then I would do hashtag living room inspo.
Yeah.
And then if I did something pink is super popular on Instagram, as you know. Yes. Design Sponge have their own pink hashtag.
Right.
So it's DS Pink. So I would hashtag it DS Pink. There's another one that is, oh God, what is it? I have this thing with pink. Right, another well-known pink hashtag. So, but I would also hashtag pink. Like you want to maximise the thing in your picture which is going to get the most attention. Like my pink door gets ridiculous attention.
Yes.
So I always hashtag every pink hashtag that I know. So I'll use that. Then I'll use the standard. I'll use interior inspo, interior design, interior Samo. I use some of the French hashtags, interior. And then I also use big, well-known hashtags like, for example, apartment therapy. They don't tend to regram so much now, but when I first started on Instagram, I was regrammed a lot by apartment therapy, and that was a major cause of how getting followers. So hashtagging to those main ones, they still often regram. So apartment therapy in My Domain, which is My Domain, another big American website, blogging. They're hugely into it in America. They've got loads of these great big interior design websites, and they all do hashtags. A Beautiful Mess. So ABM Life is Colourful, ABM Life is...
Just in my theme of visiting people with dogs, we're just going to introduce Buddy, who is very cute, who is barking at someone walking past.
I think he's barking at Simon. He'll stop in a minute.
Yeah, no worries. We don't mind. We all love dogs. We're all dog lovers.
You can all have Buddy. He's up for rent.
Oh, I might take him home then. He's lovely.
ABM, A Beautiful Mess, Life is Colourful, ABM Home. And then Better Homes and Gardens, they do huge regramming. My Interior, there's loads.
So these are very American. Do we like? I kind of feel
there's nothing.
We need to do. There's nothing.
Well, there's
like
barely anything.
There's
Central Kitchens, Bedrooms and Bathrooms. They've got one EKBB. I hashtag Planet Living, etc., which I hashtag quite a lot to. Actually, it's only got about 1,200 followers, but I'm on a personal mission to build that hashtag because it's a UK hashtag. Whether or not it's a real hashtag, I'm not even sure, to be honest. But I hashtag to it. And then what else is there in the UK? There's Marie Care Maison, but I don't think that's connected. I think that's German. We don't really have very much going on. That's really sad. From a magazine point of view, we need more.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Magazine people.
Who
I think may be listening. Come on, guys, get on with it.
Exactly.
So that's really massively useful. So with images, can I ask you? This is a podcast, of course I can ask you.
Feel free to ask me.
Do you take your photos with your camera or with a phone?
I do it both, actually. So I always used my phone to take my pictures. I've got an iPhone, and they've always been completely fine. I recently, last year, invested in a Olympus pen, which I really love.
It's got Bluetooth.
It has everything, and I love it. I do, and they call it a blogger camera, and it has video. You can film on it and all sorts of stuff. I love it. But again, I use that, but in conjunction with that, I also use an old. Is it Nikon? It is Nikon.
Nikon. Yeah.
Nikon. Yeah. I used an old one of those. I have too, which takes more landscape pictures. But I mix and match. I use all three, depending on how much time I've got.
Yeah, and do you edit them?
Yes, I edit them. So I don't use filters. Mainly,
do people use filters anymore?
Yeah, I mean there are entire feeds out there, interior feeds, which are built on filters. There's lots of bleaching of photographs and all that sort of stuff, which looks absolutely beautiful. But for me, as my feed is my business, that doesn't work. No. So I work with brands for a living. So a brand isn't going to want to see a bleached out picture of their product. No. So I have to have clear colour, so I cannot filter at all. Yeah. So I use Snapseed, which is a really good whitening tool. So it just it brightens it and whitens it. So if you've got a white wall, sometimes you can take a picture, it can look a bit yellowy. Yeah. So it just whitens the wall, and it also you can scrub out plug points and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. So the picture still looks as it does in real life. It doesn't change the colours, but it just brightens it and just makes it sharpen. It sharpens it. So I use Snapseed and then I import it into my Instagram.
And you go straight into Instagram. You don't use a kind of a planning app.
No, and I actually don't even recommend those because anything that associates with Instagram, which involves you having to put your login and your password in, it's totally frowned on by Instagram. So there's a huge issue with bots, which they're cracking down on, that's why they brought in all the shadow banning and all that sort of stuff. Huge issue with bots on Instagram. There's people who come on and use apps that comment on your pictures for you. You see this picture, they just go amazing, like that. In order to crack down on that, they are cracking down on the apps that associate with Instagram.
So Instagram can pick up that it's come from
totally anything. They know that it's coming. So anything that involves you having to use your own login and your password to connect it to Instagram, I would not touch. With a barge pole. I've not heard that. Wow. So many people who are using those follower apps, for example, so you can use those apps that tell you who's unfollowed you and who's followed you. Those will absolutely get you shadow banned because they connect to Instagram. So anything like that is a massive no-no. So I don't use anything like that. The only thing that I do use, which is good, is an app called HishHash, which is not connected to Instagram in any way, and it's a hashtag app it's by itself, self-contained, and it will help you sort out your interior hashtags into rooms and mish them all around for you so that you're not putting your hashtags in the same order every time.
Right. So if you use the same hashtags but not in the same order, that doesn't count as using...
That's fine. What you want to do is stop yourself looking like a bot.
Right.
And there are certain things that make you look like a bot. Using the same hashtags every time in the same order. What else makes you look
because I thought it was just using the same hashtags, but if you jumble
them
up...
No, you can jumble them.
No,
that's jumbling is fine. It's stopping yourself looking like an...
like a
so, for example, using... So people, they crack down on comment pods. So people use comment pods that they join.
Just explain what that is, because some people might not know.
So a comment pod is something, it's a DM group set up with maybe 10, 20 people in it. They all have an arrangement that when one of them posts a picture, that everybody goes on and likes and comments at the same time. That makes you look automated. Right? Yeah. They don't like comment pods. Comment pods are not something that I would ever... And I'm amazed at how many people do them, right? But if anything is going to get you shadow banned, it's going to be a comment pod, because if it looks like you're automated, so everyone commenting at the same time on one post,
obvious, it's
not good.
Yeah.
You know, it's so obvious.
Yeah.
But comment pods are not good.
Yeah. You're answering my questions before I'm even getting to them. Brilliant. I wanted to talk about in interiors I kind of think it's from a magazine point of view, because obviously I come from an editorial background, but when we use images in a magazine, you then see the same, because they go into like an image bank. So say I worked at IPC for a long time, all those images go into an image bank, and then 5 years later I'll see that image pop up again. And I'm always surprised that magazines can keep you... I mean, there's a picture of me fluffing a bed that's been going around for about 10 years now. If you see a skinny person in the Cath Kidston apron shaking that bed, that's me pre-children.
Oh, how funny.
That's why you won't recognise it. Head cut off. But with interiors, I find that I follow a lot of interior Instagrammers, and you will be using the same images, or not the same images, you use the same rooms or images of your rooms. Like, you have to repeat your rooms again and again.
Yeah.
And do you think people, like, so someone who follows you and they might have seen this room we're in 10 times, but you show it from a different angle, but it's the same room?
Yeah.
How does that not get
boring?
Repetitive? I was going to say boring. I don't want to be offensive.
No,
yeah,
I'm not.
Because
I have to say that it's quite difficult, and that's creating new content all the time is quite hard work.
Yeah, I mean, and you've got loads of rooms to choose from. Like, I've got 5. I physically couldn't show a different
But that's
angle.
why I think it's quite good. I mean, I am in a habit of doing full room shots, but I'm going to try and take a step back actually and try and do more corner shots and more maybe flat lay type shots, kind of expand it a bit.
Yeah.
But I think it is difficult because people follow me to look at my house.
Yeah.
And it's a proven fact that if I put a picture of me on, or if me and Dee at an event on, that they will literally not like it. Right, so I put a picture on yesterday of my bedroom, that got 10,000 likes. Put a picture of me and Dee on last week, that got like 250. They don't follow me.
My God.
They're literally not interested in seeing pictures of me and Dee.
That's so fascinating, because actually I really like, personally, but I'm always...
Yeah, but you know
me. Mm-hmm. But even if it was someone I didn't know, I like to see the person behind. You know, I'm buying into your world sort of thing. I want to see you too. So that's really
But they don't want that. They want to. So I've got 100,000 followers. They don't want to see me in my house.
Can I just say, when I put this podcast live, I'm just going to have a picture of your room.
Oh.
No, but actually,
they don't want to see me in my house.
On Inside Stylists, if I put so Inside Stylists Instagram is all about reposting the members' images of interiors.
Yeah.
Flowers, bomb. I love flowers. On my personal feed, flowers do great, but on that feed, pictures of people for the podcast, skyrocket.
It's amazing.
But it's what they're coming for. They're coming for the content and what you are going to say. So
they look at my feed. They look at the same. I can put. If I put a gallery wall on my feed, it will fly every single time. Every single time. Shelfies. Every time. People love it.
Yeah.
Right? But if I put... They're looking at that because they want to see how to do it. They're looking the fact I've done it and they want to see how I did it.
Yeah.
If I put me on, that's not why they're looking at my feed.
They're not getting inspired by...
And they don't care less whether it's the same room. Right? I think that there is it's difficult, I think, when you're posting pictures, and especially when you're talking about engagement. is that it's very tempting if you have pictures that do really well to post the same picture all the time. And there are feeds that do that, who like survive their entire thing by literally posting the same picture every 5 days.
And when someone has your house is very different. You've got rooms that all have different colours, different themes. Yeah. But there are some people out there who have, it might be Scandi and it might be all white, and every room is decorated in exactly the same way, and every picture is very, very similar. And they have tens of thousands of followers.
But people follow them for
because they
that
want
reason.
That. Yeah.
That's what they want.
Yeah.
Right? So minimalist people would not be following me. If they don't like colour, they won't be following me. So the people who follow me for a particular reason.
Yeah.
It's not for me.
Yeah.
Right? They follow me for my house, not me. And I would never think anything different.
Yeah.
I don't think that they... Yeah. And every now and then, I do put pictures, and in fact, I'm a bit of a nightmare for it. I do it every now and then, and I put pictures of us on just for the hell of it.
Yeah.
Because I think...
But we were talking earlier that Instagram, especially when you were saying when you first started doing it, you do it for yourself, and you want to completely enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
And because I always think for my personal feed so I have a personal feed, and I was just going to share the link then. I thought that's really cheesy. I'll put it in the show notes, people. I do Instagram on my personal feed for me, and I do Inside Stylists feed for Inside Stylists. Yeah. So it's very interiors. It's all about what I've seen at press shows, what's coming out next, new launches, talking about podcasts, blog posts, all that sort of thing. Yeah. But my on my personal feed, where I go, I'm going to press show, I'll share it on Inside Stylists, go look there. It's all me walking the dog. I kind of put a bit of interior.
It should be
because that's what I enjoy doing. I get pleasure from that, and I just think if I get followers, that's lovely. If I don't,
totally,
I don't really care.
It's really
hard. I want
hard.
followers on Inside Stylists because that's business, and I want to share all the people involved in the website. Yeah. I want to push that, so that I do have drive for that. But for my own stuff, I'm just doing it for fun.
I know. Well, when I started posting pictures, the buzz that I got, and still do, of posting a new room or of posting a new shot, it's even now, like last night I posted the picture of my bedroom, that gave me such a buzz to post that.
Yeah.
And to feel, and I didn't care how many likes it got, because it was new content I created. I was really excited to put it on there. I started doing Instagram because I loved taking pictures and I loved the engagement. It's a social media, it's called social media, and it's called social media because it's a social platform.
Yeah.
So I get so much joy out of doing that, and that doesn't go away. If I have no new content to put on, sometimes it does. I get a bit irritated. But when I get new content, I love putting it on. I never lose that buzz of putting the new content on.
Do you plan ahead then? Do you ever have some backup shots?
No, never. Occasionally, I'll take a few pictures if my house is looking really tidy, which is very rare, once in a blue moon, maybe twice in 2 years. I will take a load of photographs walking around my house, and then I'll keep them, and then I'll fiddle around with them over the course of the week. Yeah. But generally, I decide literally on the day what I'm putting on.
And do you, because when I was mentioned earlier that I've interviewed Sarah Akwesombi, that post that's gone out previously, we were talking about blogging and how she was saying it doesn't matter when you put blog posts out, people just read it in their own time, but it does matter when you put posts out on Instagram. So do you post every day, obviously. Do you have a specific time that you post?
Totally, yeah. So I post I always post every day between 7 and 9.
In the evening?
In the evening, mainly between 7 and 8. That is absolute prime Instagram time. And if you have an account on Instagram, you can see your stats anyway. If you've got a business account, you can see when your most popular time, but I can guarantee you it will be between 7 and 9 at night. People are they've finished, they're sitting there on their phone, even if I'm watching a television programme, as soon as the advert's on, I'm like, there we are, I'm on my phone.
Even sometimes during the programme.
I'm like, I just pick my phone up, have a quick look, and my husband will go, get off that phone.
To see, because my husband's the same. He's sitting watching YouTube, I'm sitting on Instagram, we're both watching programme, it's like, hello.
I know, but then my husband has an iPad, so he's like doing that too. It's like a third person going on. It's awful. But that's really popular, so definitely between then. Between 7:30 to 9 o'clock in the morning. Again, a good time to post before people leave for work. Around lunchtime can sometimes be quite popular because that's when the States come online. Interiors is very heavily focused on in the States. If you post a picture at 10 o'clock in the morning, you might as well not bother.
Really?
And I think that if you are going to spend time creating content, making that picture as good as it could possibly be, because you shouldn't post it unless it's as good as it could possibly be, and you spend time on your captions, spend time on your hashtag, putting your hashtags in, it's a waste.
Yeah.
It's just a wasted photo.
If you're doing it for a reason.
Yeah, it's a waste. But also, you want the engagement. You want people to chat to you. You want to be able to get new followers who enjoy what you do. So you want to put it out at a time when they really will be seeing it. And if you put it out at a time 2:00 in the afternoon, 3:00 maybe on the school run, you've got no chance. You might as well just not bother. And that is when that makes it demoralising.
Yeah.
Because you spend time doing it, and it's, you know, there's no point. Put it out when people are going to be looking at it.
Is it the same with stories? You need to put them out at a specific time as well?
Stories is 24 hours. So
it doesn't matter when you put it out.
When you put them out, they will stay on your feed for 24 hours. So you can look. And stories, I find, I watch stories all the time.
So do I. I put my phone in my kitchen cupboard so it's at eye level while I'm chopping up veg.
And watch them.
And I push play and I just watch them one after the other.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
And I love it.
Stories are amazing. TV. Stories have overtaken Snapchat, which is unbelievable. And stories has grown at a rate equivalent, if in fact more than Instagram, or something ridiculous. I mean, Instagram itself has grown in the last 2 years. It's doubled in its usage, which is why, again, I say it all the time, that's why it's so important your content is shit hot, because if it's not, there's so much competition. Loads of people out there. So stories has just come in and gone because video is going from at the moment. Video is the way forward. So everybody loves stories, and stories also contribute towards your engagement, which again will help push you up rankings.
And you were saying, I want to talk about stories a little bit longer, but you were also saying that I always thought it was the engagement in your comments, but it's also in direct comments.
It's everything. Instagram wants you to use every single feature that they have. So the more you engage on all these features, so if you put a poll on your Instagram stories, it's engagement. They like that. That's why they have the feature. That's what it's there for. Do swipe up. Again, you know, it's engagement. If you...
we're all working on the swipe up. We're all heading towards the 10,000. I've forgotten that. Most of us don't have that yet, but we're working on it.
If you use anything, all those functions that they give you all promote engagement. And that's what it's all about. It's all about engagement.
It's good to know that, because I think I didn't know that. I didn't know that things like, I know that stories, but the whole the polls and all of that and the direct messaging, I didn't know that.
So the other week I put a picture on. I did my stairs, and I put a picture of my stairs on my story before I put it on my actual Instagram feed. And I put it on my story, and I got within an hour and a half, I had 300 direct messages.
Wow.
Right. And then I put it on my feed. Yeah. Right. And then I got nearly 20,000 likes on that picture. And that isn't just because it was a good picture. It's because I had all those people, all that engagement going on, that it was boosting me already. So I'd already had 300 direct messages about it. So I'd already got it all. It was all going on in the algorithm. Like everything was. Don't ask me to explain the algorithm because I can't. But whatever it was, that engagement was boosting that content, and it got 4,500 likes in an hour.
Wow!
So I've never had that before in my life, and I am absolutely convinced that will be because the engagement I was getting on my stories in conjunction with that was what was pushing it.
That's amazing.
So
what do you do when you have 300 comments? That's such a lot of time to, like, how do you manage it actually? Do you sit down at a certain time of day and just, or do you try and reply straight away? All day, every day? It's just constant. And I message you and you get back really quickly.
Yeah, I get 300 a day. I get 300 a day in general, and I respond to every one of them because that is what my job is.
Yeah, I was going to say that's your job.
That's my job. So I try and keep on top of it all the time. And if I get them in, I try and respond to them really quickly and keep on top of it.
Yeah.
But you know, you just, I don't put my phone down.
No.
It's ongoing.
What happens when the kids are at home and stuff? Do you still, you have to kind of be on it? Like, let's face it, the kids come home at 3:00. You've still got 3 hours of kind of work time sort of thing. Do you try and monitor when you're in front of the kids?
I try and not do it all the time. Also, I'm like a taxi service for my children. So I spend a lot of my time in the car driving them around from 3:00, between 3:00 and 6:00. Yeah. So I'm quite limited. If there's any time of day that I won't be responding, it will be between 3 and 6. But I just, as soon as I get home, I'll always have a post lined up and then I'll be on it. Yeah. They just know. Yeah. But you know, it's a double-edged sword because they complain about my phone. Yeah. But they also know that I'm always there to pick them up because I work from home. Yeah. So it's double-edged. So I could be not at home, but I am at home.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So although they get annoyed that I am, because if I was in a full-time job and I was out, I would be at home work until 6 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So I'm working at home, but I'm here with them. So for them, they complain about it, but they know that, you know, the alternative is that either way, I would be working till 6.
Yeah.
So.
And also, I think, I don't know, my children are slightly younger. Actually, no, I think our children are very similar ages, but my kids are on their phone almost as much as me. So
yeah, totally.
There's a point where, we have no tech at the table. There is no tech at the table. We don't even have that. We don't have.
Yeah,
TV
actually,
or
I have to
anything.
say they tend not to.
We have eye-to-eye conversations.
Yeah.
Sometimes elbows off the table. Not very often, though.
Mine just play Fortnight nearly all the time.
They play what?
Fortnight.
Oh, it's all.
So your eldest is a girl, you see. So is that? Do you know you've got Fortnight?
No. Is that an Xbox thing?
Yeah, it's
we haven't got an Xbox. Oh, no, we haven't got any of that. My
husband's obsessed with all tech. So as a result, you will see we have ridiculous televisions in every room in our house. It's awful.
When I was talking to Sarah Aquazombie, she was talking about organic followers and how if you want to push to get more followers, it's a good way of doing that is by sharing content and giving shout outs to other people. First of all, I have to say thank you for giving me a shout out because I got 200 followers when you gave me a shout out.
Oh, did you? Thank you.
And it's really interesting how that happens. Did you kind of have some of that in your growing?
Yeah, totally. So when I was talking about apartment therapy, so when they used to repost my pictures, I would get like thousands of followers in one day because they've got over 1 million followers. So that's why even now, it's still really good to post to those accounts. Shouting out, you have to be very careful that you're not being non-organic by overdoing it. So follow Fridays are great, but you need to not be follow Fridaying 20 people because then you're looking a bit bot-like.
Yeah.
And you have to be quite careful with that.
And also, I'd imagine you have to keep in mind who your audience is and who you're sharing is the same sort of audience.
And also, I mean, I try and keep people I follow to about 600 because I don't think it's feasibly possible to follow more people than that. But I only follow people that I really, really enjoy following.
Yeah.
And if I don't, or I feel there's so much, so many people out there that you could follow everybody. But I only follow people that I really, really do. And
the algorithm changes, doesn't it? So I've realised recently that I do a lot of interiors, but on my personal account, there's a lot of fitness people who I was following, and I suddenly went, God, I haven't seen her for ages, and I haven't even been seeing her feed because the algorithm has changed.
And it's totally non-predictable. No. I mean, it's completely you can't explain it.
And then suddenly they'll pop up, and I'll go, oh, where have you been? I haven't seen you and your skinny body. Probably good that I'm not looking at you. Yeah, actually unfollow.
But no, you can't explain the algorithm. You cannot beat it. You can gain followers from shouting people out, but you need to be 100% sure that you really do like that. That you like that feed. Well, it's true. I would never shout out. I would never promote someone to my followers because who I did not. But it was 100% confident that I think that they would be inspired by them because I follow them because I'm inspired by them. Yeah. So I mean that is a way of gaining followers, but you cannot beat engaging. Engaging is always the key.
Yeah.
Good picture, engaging, good hashtags, right time of day.
That's it.
That's the only way to do
it.
Lisa
has spoken.
It's organic. And there are people out there who buy followers. You can buy followers. That's another way of gaining your following. But you can look at anybody on Instagram who's got a lot of followers and will get barely any likes on their picture, and that's because they haven't grown them organically. Yeah. And there's no point.
I was going to say it's a bit of an empty followers, really, isn't it? Because there'll
pointless.
be no engagement. It's not. Well, you can't take pride in your account if you bought your account. It's like
it's just
no. I just don't see.
And there's also the follow for follow thing as well, which I have never had any involvement in any of that. I don't follow people because they follow me. I follow them because I find them inspiring, which is what Instagram wants because it's a creative, organic environment. And I noticed the other day I put a story on my story. I was out for the night out. I was with a friend. She's only got 30 followers. I tagged her in my story. And I went on the next day because I realised I wasn't even following her. And I went on to follow her, and I noticed a really big account with nearly 200,000 followers had not only liked her picture but started following her. Follow for follow. Right? I am totally not in agreement with that. That is completely non-organic. Completely.
Yeah, I'm very, very. It's like you were saying, like on Inside Stylists, I try to follow the people that I'm, like you say, I'm really I love the feed, and it's members
because it should make you feel good.
Yeah, but it's like, it's really hard to keep up with it. Like, I don't understand how you can have 3,000 accounts that you're following and then actually see
it's not even nearly.
Like, it's crazy. It's like,
it's
I find Twitter too fast. You can't watch it, and it's like, if I had 3,000 followers on Instagram, it would be the same. It's like, well, I'm going to miss everything because you only have so much time to scroll through your feed.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a question from the Facebook group asking, what is your best and worst post and why? Well, I don't want you to say that it was a picture of you that was the worst post.
I'm going to say that. Of course. So my best post was my haul, which is what I just did earlier.
Is this the one, the gallery haul
that gallery
you did not long ago?
Yeah, that one I did not long ago. So that was my best one. But I think that was my best one because I did the story first and got that huge reaction to it. And then I posted it and then it went mental. It went completely mad. Yeah. So that was my best ever post. But that post had a lot of things that people, when you take a picture and you balance it out, there's certain things that make a picture really good. Yeah. And it's the combinations of colours and it's what the picture's of and the way it's symmetrical, or it's just, I always find that straight on pictures get me far more likes than anything from an angle or a side view. People like to see a picture straight ahead. Yeah. Like my friend Bianca put on a really good picture last night of a sofa that she has styled for her revamped style reveal room, and it was just the sofa, symmetrical, lights either side, picture above. And that is a really popular style of picture. Always gets more likes. Least popular picture is possibly the one of me and Dee at the Affordable Art Fair that I put the other day that got 250
I can't believe that.
Oh my god, no, honestly it's true. But it's fair enough. It is fair enough, and that's why I don't quibble about putting on pictures like that. Because for me, it's not all about likes anyway. No. It's about, I want my feed to show me as the way that
I think it's important to show the person behind the brand every now and again.
Yeah,
it's important to see who's talking to you.
Your feed is your story. So I was with Dom from All That Is She last week, and she said something really, really interesting. Is that she takes a picture of her daughters. She does this thing, All That Is 3, and she takes a picture of her daughters and her every single Sunday. So actually, it's a record of them growing up.
Yeah,
how cool
lovely
is that? Right, so her feed is a record of her family growing up, and so I don't want my feed to just show pictures of my house. I want there to be, like when I won that EKBB award last year, I put the picture of me in there. And then I put, I did a workshop, I like to put a picture of the workshop group in there, just because I kind of like to intersperse it. Yeah. Just so I intersperse it with things that I will look back on in years to come, as long as my account isn't like hacked and ruined, let's hope, that you're back in years to come and think, oh God, actually I remember doing that and that was really nice. So I do try and do that, and I do it even if I don't get loads of likes. It doesn't bother me, because for me it's like a record. Yeah.
It's funny because I was trying to show someone a picture of my dog when he was a puppy. And I went, hang on, I'll just go back through to Instagram. I remember he was sitting on a chair in the front of the car, like sitting in the front of the car with me. And it's like, you could just scroll back and go, oh, there you go. And but I can't do that with my kids. I haven't got pictures of my kids on there because they won't let me take pictures of them. So stick to interiors.
Do you know, my children don't let me do anything. I started a hashtag on my story the other day because my children... my son goes into my bathroom and then he just like takes food in there with him and eats it. So I started doing a hashtag going, food I found in my bathroom. My son went loopy. Yeah. He's like, what are you doing? I'm 14, right? You should not be doing this to me. This is really embarrassing. All my friends will see it.
Do his friends follow you?
Yeah, they all follow me.
Yeah, see, I've got that, and I'm not allowed to talk about them or show pictures without their permission.
Totally. But actually, they have to approve everything I put on.
In school they were taught, I'm sure it's the same with your kids' school, but they're taught about social media and not taking pictures of yourself with your uniform on and not putting your full name and all of that.
I know,
so they've been brought up not to share too much information. So if I share stuff about them without their permission, they get really arsey.
Yeah. Oh God, no. So do mine. My daughter, she's 16. I can't even think about putting a picture of her on unless she's like approved it about 7 times.
Yeah. If I say the daughterling, I never say which one though. Yeah. It's usually quite obvious though. But also they say that it's really cheesy watching me on like stories because they just get really cringy. It's like, oh Mum, no, I can't watch it. It's like really fun. I'm like, great, I can talk about whatever I want. You won't even know.
I can't even watch. I know.
There's a couple. I don't want to keep you all day, but there's a couple of things that I think we should also cover before we finish. One is kind of, how did you start with brands contacting you and actually making this into a business? So you kind of, did you approach them or did they approach you?
No, so what happened, it was massive, it was hugely organic actually. So Dee and I were both on Instagram, and I was, small brands started saying, or I started buying products from small brands. Another great thing about Instagram is that it's such a promoter of small brands, and it's enabled small businesses to just get out there in a way that they didn't have before. So I started buying products from small brands. I would put them in my pictures in my room, and I would tag them and say, look at this lovely cushion I got. And then they would get loads of business. And then we all suddenly realised, oh my God, this is quite good. So little small brands started contacting me saying, can I send you this? And you put it in your pictures. And I was like, yeah, of course I will, because it's great. It's like it works both ways. It worked for everybody. Yeah. For the price of a cushion, they would send me. I would put them on my Instagram. They would get loads of orders. So we suddenly realised this is actually a thing. Yeah. Right? This is happening. This is a weird thing that's going on, but it's working. So then the brands cottoned onto it. So to start with, it was just small brands contacting me. I think paint company contacted me and said if they could send me paint, would I use it? So I did that. And then it gradually built up into bigger brands. And I think the brand thing really kicked off for me when I did some work for Samsung, who contacted me and said, would I promote the frame television? Obviously, my husband at this point was like...
jumping up and down.
Oh my God. He had been, how many cushions is it possible to have? Right. He was like, how many cushions is it possible to have?
I believe all men say that.
I know.
They just hate them.
When Samsung contacted me, he was like, oh my God, this is it.
Bring the cushions on. It means I get the TV.
I know. So not only did I get a TV, they also paid me.
Oh,
right. So that was the beginning.
And how many followers did you have at that point? Do you remember?
I started with 30 in January 2016. By December of 2016, I had 20,000. And then I worked with Samsung last July. So I probably had about 50,000, I think. Yeah, about 50, maybe 45,000. So they paid me and they gave me the television. And from then on, it kind of kicked off a bit. And then before I knew it, and also of course I write a blog.
Yes, that was the other thing.
And the conjunction with the blog works really well for me and for brands. So obviously Instagram is instantaneous, and stories are instant. But blog is evergreen. So I work with brands. Mainly I do Instagram in conjunction with the blog post. So the blog post a sponsored blog post will be there forever. So
and do you find that people come to your blog from Instagram? Do you get most of your people from there? Yeah,
I mean, initially I launched my blog. I started writing my blog because I got so many people asking me questions. I'd always bought loads of vintage. I like doing things myself, and people would say, how did you do that? Where did you do that? So I was like, all right, I'm going to write a blog. So actually, I listened to Sarah Axonby, and she did a webinar, and I listened to that, and she said, find your niche. So I realised what my niche was, and from that point it was easy. So I just started writing the blog. But now the blog works brilliantly with Instagram, the two things together. Yeah. So I do packages with brands that include stories, Instagram, and blog. Sometimes they don't want the blog, sometimes they just want, like, they've got a sale, they're doing something. They want to get people onto their website that weekend, so that's fine. But often it's in conjunction with the blog. But I've done blogs. I've worked with all sorts of companies. I've just worked with the Discovery Channel, interviewing somebody for a new show, right down to window companies, right down to products, high street stores. So it's so varied. It's never the same.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's exciting. It's always what I do, styling. You never know what's coming in next, or it's going to be interiors, but
it's
that whole what's around the corner.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's very cool. And we should just talk very quickly about the hashtag revamp, restyle, reveal.
Yes.
Blah, 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 blah.
I know. Oh,
I'm sure I'm going to mess this up.
We talk about it and we go, It's like, it's so bad. It's so difficult to say. Yeah. My husband's got problems pronouncing his R's, and I'm like, don't you ever try and say that.
The hashtag thing.
The hashtag thing.
So that has grown and grown and grown. So do you want to just talk about explain what that is to anyone who hasn't seen it?
So we launched that. I launched it with Bianca Hall and Oliver Thomas last October. Was it October?
Oh, really? I thought it had been going longer
August.
than that.
No.
Seems like... So how many times have you done it?
So this is only the second time.
Second time?
Yeah. Oh. So we did it last August, and it was kind of spurred on by something they do in America called the One Room Challenge, which is a huge thing where they get hundreds of bloggers doing it. So we thought we could maybe do something the same over here. So what we did is we spoke to sponsors and we said, if we got you 10 bloggers to do, we did a room in their house over the course of a month, would you sponsor? So they're like, yeah, that's great, because that works well for them. You know, in this new way of advertising where you're using social media to advertise, it works brilliantly. So we got 10 bloggers together, and then we launched it on multiple social platforms. So we did a YouTube, channel where everybody did weekly videos, and then we did a website, and then we did a Twitter account, and then we did Instagram, and it went really well. So
it's just finished, isn't it?
Well, we did it last season, and then this season it's just Bianca and I, and we added things onto it. We've changed it around a bit, and we've made the YouTube channel a really big part of it. Made the website far more extensive. Got double the amount of sponsors we got last time, and it just has gone. It was launch day yesterday. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing, and the hits to the websites were just off the scale. We couldn't. It was beyond what we ever thought. Yeah. But I think that people have cottoned onto that because we run the Instagram feed as the main social media, and we encourage people to post their revamp freestyle reveals in conjunction with the bloggers doing their own over the course of the month, and use the swipe feature. Brilliant way of using the swipe feature. So you can look at your before shot and your after shot, and people can really look at that and get inspired. And people post everything from a full room revamp, I can't even say the word, revamp, to painting a cupboard, to painting a front door, completely changing the look of their house by painting the front door, to just like painting an upcycled piece of furniture. But all sorts from one extreme to the other, and people loved it. It just worked really well. So we went up. I think we had 5,000 followers when we started last month, and now we've got nearly 13,000. Wow! The following rocketed, and the amount of posts to the hashtag were mad. It's just amazing. It's
brilliant. It's like one of those. It's a bit like Pinterest. When you start, you kind of go in, and you're like, I really need to do some work now. I need to step away for a second.
It's so addictive. Brilliant. The public, the bloggers doing it is great fun to watch, but the public participation is the best. I mean, it's just so cool looking at these revamps. It really gets people excited.
We have talked about so much. Thank you so much for your time. It's been massively so interesting and really informative. I think everyone's going to revamp how they
avoid the arm
now. No, so thank you so much for your time.
It's been brilliant.
It's been brilliant fun. Thanks for listening to the Inside Stylists Podcast. You'll find all the links from today's episode over on the show notes at insidestylist.com/Lisa Dawson. And again, in case you want to go and find Lisa on Instagram, her handle is _Lisa_Dawson_. And you'll find her blog, lisadawsonstyling.com. So, I hope you've enjoyed this show. I hope you put lots of this into action and get a massive result. I'd love to hear how you get on. So drop me a line in the comments on the podcast, or you can comment on Instagram. I will see whatever you put anywhere. So keep me posted. Until next time, bye for now.